Yeah, I see what you mean. Jess is you can go even with of song, sounds with song. Sorry, sounds with song, and then a few uh, of her later books. Those I would say are in the pantheon of Jess's works, but they do have different themes and different ways of getting into the character. I am interested to see what she would do with a wider palette, though.
Yeah, and this is this is the thing though. It's sort of nitpicky. One of the things Jessica and I, when we read our stuff, others' work, is it's hard to impress. Someone like tomorrow, I'm going to be Skyping with Ezekiel and Chin, and not together, separately, but someone who's just coming to the work and reading it is going to be more impressed, and that's because when you are so consistently good or great at something, it's hard to maintain it. You were asking, and I don't want to mention names, but someone on our list here had written something, and it was not a good work. It was a long process and whatnot, and Jessica was like, I don't understand how he could do that. I said, well, it's difficult to make one great thing. I mean, forget art. To do one great thing in your life, to whether you're a diplomat or whether you're a scientist or a philosopher, to have one great idea is a difficult thing. To go and paint, we watched, Jessica and I watched this movie, a cartoon about Van Gogh a few months ago, maybe 5-6 months ago on Filmstruck, when it was still, well, I mean, it's still going for another month, but and I thought it was kind of silly. It had some moments. It tried to make Van Gogh a murder mystery, and it was just kind of ridiculous. But Jessica was talking about Van Gogh as a great artist, and I said, yeah, I think he has some great paintings, but I wouldn't put him up with some of the Hudson River School painters. I wouldn't put him with some of the other painters that have a bit broader perspective on things. Dali comes to mind. A couple of the other Manet, I would say, is well beyond Van Gogh, and that's because Van Gogh had some bad paintings. I think the Potato Eaters, for example, is a grossly overrated painting. And then he did his swirling stuff, and okay, but you have to. This is why when you read my stuff, there's certainly a Dan Schneider voice from True Life on, as far as the prose, but I'm always taking different things in all of the plays. I'm working on my 38th play now. I'll be done by this weekend with it, and I'm constantly trying to take different ways to get to things. All of these plays, for example, I don't think there's ever been sketched out in any written medium a view of the female of the species the way I cover it. Good, bad, indifferent, stupid, whatnot. In these plays, I cover it all. And it's not just the women that Danny Wagner has sex with or wants to have sex with. It's the other peripheral characters too, the good characters and the bad. And these things are things I don't plan out. I don't say, well, I'm going to do a sociological portrait of the female of the species in the late 20th, early 21st century, so that someone in 2862 can write a 5-volume treatise on the human female at the turn of the third millennium, as written by Dan Schneider. It's so that, but these things emerge because they're interesting. I didn't set out to write a quartet of novels when I wrote Tumbleweeds. It was just basically a fictionalized version, a condensed fictionalized version of True Life. But then it emerged. Manny Cole emerged as the character who was going to do the Vincetti brothers. I had wanted to write about those 3 brothers for 20 years in some form, and that came. And then doing that, first came the Norwegian, and then Big Frank emerged. And then I said, well, Big Frank and the Norwegian and their killing of Paulie, which is, we find out by the end of the Vincetti brothers, there's got to be more there. And then the Norwegian was going to be answering that. And I thought it would be smaller than Vincetti brothers. But it ballooned, in a good sense, to something on this vast cosmic level. And the same thing with the heroic trilogy. the first one is a humorous book, and then we go to the anti-hero, and that's my favorite of the three books. And then we go to, again, this grand space opera that ends it. And then what do I do then? And then I go on this series of plays, and I do this book, and I'll do some more plays. I'm going to either do the Gorgeous George book or this other science fiction type book that's going to deal with prisoner-like issues. And that's the fun of it. And I've said many times, you have to have fun. If art isn't just about, oh, I'm going to make a statement.